What you're about to watch is a completely raw, basically unedited, and basically uncut version of a Michigan fan's reaction to this week's game for the Michigan Wolverines. So if you're a fan of this football team and you want to join in on the joys of winning as well as the sorrows of losing every single tough away game and every game against the Ohio State Buckeyes, go ahead and subscribe right here. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of the Michigan sports action. Now, without further ado, here's that reaction you came for. Enjoy. Woo! There's going to be a lot of people who say this wasn't a good win. Wisconsin was 1-2. They hadn't looked good. They just lost by 28 to Notre Dame. This isn't a good win. Don't listen to them, Michigan fans. Don't listen to them. Wisconsin, yes, they were 1-2. But this game's at Camp Randall. They always run the ball well. Not as much lately, but they usually run the ball well. They always stop the run, and that is especially so this season. Last week against Notre Dame, they gave up just 9 yards on 32 carries. That's 0.9 yards per carry. So it's going to be tough sledding. It's at Wisconsin. Last week was at Soldier Field, so that was a neutral site game. This is a difficult game, and it's a great win. Do not let anybody take this win from you. Yeah, Wisconsin was 1-2. Those losses were to Notre Dame and Penn State. Those are 2 top 10 teams last I checked. I don't know, though. Cincinnati's beating Notre Dame 17-0 as I watch. But don't let anybody take these wins from you. Clemson's 2-2. Ohio State's got a loss already. I'm watching Oklahoma right now. They're 10-10 with Kansas State. They almost lost to West Virginia last week. We could be in a lot worse situation. A win is a win is a win is a win. I'm going to be optimistic right now. And you guys have seen me on this channel plenty of times. I've been pessimistic. I've been negative on Harbaugh. I've got my issues with him even today. There were some calls that I'm like, I don't know about that. Even on the first drive, if you were watching on the live stream, we went for it on 4th and 1. I was cool with it. Great run call. Then the next 4th down on the same drive, I'm like, yeah, let's not push our luck in a little bit here. In a game that figures to be low scoring, it didn't end up being, but a game that figures to be low scoring, let's go ahead and punt this ball and play field position, and we run some slow, methodical draw that made no sense at all. Yeah, I've had my issues with Harbaugh and Gaddis and their play calling, but in the long run, when you look at it, we're 5-0. That's a lot better than 2-4. And that's a lot better than some other teams are faring this season. In a season that Alabama looks good as usual, Georgia looks dominant, Michigan obviously probably has no shot at winning the national championship, but it's a more open season than usual, so, you know, I'm gonna still be happy. Now, the Ohio State fans watching, I'm not saying we're going to win the championship. I'm still saying that Ohio State's going to beat Michigan. And I'm still saying, I'm going to this game, but I'm still saying that Penn State's going to beat Michigan. But if you'd have told me right now that we were going to be 5-0 heading into Northwestern and Nebraska, which I think will put us at, I think that Northwestern game's going to be tough, I'm telling you. I know they don't look great this year, but they just have a stingy defense. It's going to be tougher than people think. Watch out. But I think we'll go 7-0. So if you had told me we were going to be 7-0 heading into East Lansing with a tough game, as always, against Michigan State, they're always going to play us tough, I would have taken that all day, every day. I, in my preview video, had us at this point at 4-1. I had us losing this game to Wisconsin. Now, I didn't know that Wisconsin was going to have this much difficulty at the quarterback position. Today, Graham Mertz went just 8 for 15 for 115 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. And can I tell you something? His numbers were way worse than that before that last drive of the first half, which was, we'll just get into that really quick. The squib kick, absolutely stupid. Why would you do that? Wisconsin doesn't have a Dante Hall back there. They don't have a Devin Hester back there. We have good kickoff return coverage. Why do you do that? I don't understand that. That's another issue that I have with Harbaugh, that kind of playing calling. Just outthinking yourself sometimes. We just got to stop doing it. But outside of that, we've stopped Graham Mertz, and we definitely stopped Chase Wolf. Man, I saw him throw a couple passes. I knew nothing about Wisconsin's backup quarterback until I saw him throw a couple passes, and I said, this game's a wrap, man. This game's a wrap. But again, I'm not going to let that take away from how good of a victory this was. Just because Graham Mertz got hurt. Number one, it was a clean hit from Dax Hill on Graham Mertz on the sack. Number two, that was 3rd down. He sacked him. He put him down to 4th down. We then scored a touchdown on the next drive, made it 20-10. So whether there was a backup quarterback in or not, we were probably going to get this W. Maybe not as emphatically. We won 38-17, and Wisconsin even scored a late touchdown, so we were up 38-10. So maybe not as emphatically, but we were were going to win this game no matter what. We were on a roll there, and we were going to get it done. Mertz wasn't going to play for the rest of the game as he did on that last drive before the half, and his receiver DK wasn't going to play on that last drive as he did in that last possession of the half. In fact, he dropped one later on in the game with Wolf at quarterback. So we did what we needed to do. Here's what we needed to do. We needed to stop the run, number one, and we did. Wisconsin had 32 attempts for 43 yards. That is just 1.3 yards per carry. Michigan continues to be outstanding in the front seven. Say what you want about our conservative play calling. Cade McNamara not being able to get the job done possibly. Say what you want about our secondary at some points. Say whatever you need to. Our front seven is legit. It's not Georgia legit, but it's legit, and it's going to compete, and we're going to do very, very well for the rest of the season in that regard. We just have to clean up some things. I said it during the live stream. Our offensive line has been pretty spectacular compared to what I thought they were going to be going into the season. Our secondary is where I really like to see some improvement in. Our secondary, and at the receiver position, we dropped some balls today. Would like to see us clean that up. Cade McNamara on the year. That's been a big story, obviously. Can Michigan get it done when they have to throw the ball? He's averaging, before this game, 12 attempts per game. Well, this game, he attempted 28. And he wasn't, like, outstanding. He wasn't amazing. But he's kind of what you're looking for in a game like this. First of all, he's not thrown an interception all season. He hasn't fumbled the ball away all season. Michigan had their first turnover today of the year, and it was from our third-string quarterback, Alan Bowman, and that was a terrible throw. But yeah, Cade was 17 for 28. He had 197 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He was a game manager. And when you have a good defense, that's what you need to be. Now, the question's going to be, yeah, that was pretty good. 17 for 28, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He hasn't turned the ball over this year. He's done great in that regard. But J.J. McCarthy threw the ball once today, and he threw it for 56 yards, and he threw it for a touchdown. He's got a lot of upside on him. I obviously called for J.J. McCarthy from the beginning of the year. Now I think it's too late. I don't think you can make that move. But I do like how we're kind of putting McCarthy in the game here and there and switching him in and switching him out and stuff like that, just in case we want to make that decision. I assume that's why we're doing it. So it's going to be interesting moving forward because it's, I'm not comparing us to Alabama or Clemson, but it's got a hint of Kelly Bryant and Trevor Lawrence. It's got a hint of Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. It does. It's got a hint where, maybe you sat the freshman guy just because he's a freshman, but you realize he gives you the better opportunity to win. And J.J. McCarthy might just do that. He might just do that. And it's hard because Cade McNamara is one of those situations, but it was hard for Clemson to get rid of Kelly Bryant. Or stop playing Kelly Bryant. It was hard for Alabama to stop playing Jalen Hurts in the championship game against Georgia. But sometimes you have to make the hard decision to get it done in the long term. And J.J. McCarthy might be the one to get it done in the long term. We knew it was going to be difficult running the ball today. We knew it was going to be. We only had 44 carries for 112 yards and just 2.5 yards per carry today. So we had to get it done in 2 ways. We had to get it done by the air, and Cade did what he needed to do. Like I said, we needed to play really good defense and stop the Wisconsin run attack and make Graham Mertz throw the ball and then Chase Wolf throw the ball. We did all those things. Michigan did everything. Great prep work, great execution today out of the Wolverines. Everything. The reason why we won by 21 was because we had a game plan, the obvious game plan. Sometimes you can't outthink yourself. And we took care of it. We took care of it. And on top of everything else, Jake Moody is excellent. Goodness, he's been great. And 3 for 3 today, and a 47-yarder and a 48-yarder. Great job by Jake Moody. Great team effort all around. Great team effort all around. So we got some tests coming up, man, with Michigan State at Michigan State. That's going to be a huge game. We cannot lose that game. We were 24.5-point favorites last year, and we lost that game. Michigan State, for all their defensive prowess and for the way they run the football, they have a Kenneth Walker, and he's a stud and all that good stuff. They can definitely play you up front for sure. And they're going to play us tough, and it's going to be that kind of grinded out game that it usually is. But their offense isn't that scary. We need to take care of business against them in a big way. But first things first, Nebraska and Northwestern. So we'll worry about that later. Let's enjoy this victory. I mean, it's great, man. We got a shot to go 7-0, and if you would have told me that, I would have been ecstatic. I had it to 6-1, but I still would have been ecstatic. I'll take it. I'll take it all day. One game at a time, and Harbaugh will continue to gain my approval, or slow but sure approval. But I got to be honest with you, he could lose it at any time. He could lose it at any time. I'm not going to accept losing to Michigan State this year. I'm not. I don't care if they're the favorite. I don't care if it's at East Lansing. I don't care. I will not accept a Michigan State loss this year. I won't. I won't. But positivity, baby. Michigan got it done today. We beat Wisconsin on the road, first time since 2001. Go ahead and keep having some drinks. Enjoy it. This one's on me, all right? I gotta edit this up, and got a huge day of college football. We got some videos coming out next week. We'll see you next time on Tap Sports. We cover all the sports all the time, but especially our Michigan Wolverines.